Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99 back on the Jab Effect. Make sure y'all subscribe. You can subscribe here. Also, subscribe to the Jab Podcast. That's on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. You know, the long episodes over there where you can just, just listen to those where we talk about boxing, anything and everything boxing. But I just want to drop this video on this channel today. So just make sure y'all subscribe because I'm going to start doing more videos on this channel. I want to go back and talk about Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach. Just talk about this fight as well. As well as what the future holds for Danny Garcia, as far as, do people want to see him in a big fight now with Manny or Errol or Terrence Crawford? For me, man, going back and looking at this fight, Saturday night, I was flipping back and forth between, UFC and Bellator, all of that. But I sat down and, watched the majority of this fight, before the main event in Bellator. I was looking at this fight, man, and going into it, I was basically like, yo, this is supposed to be another fight where Danny's supposed to make a statement. He wasn't supposed to just go in there, and win another comfortable decision. He was supposed to go in there and make a statement and make it look like Ivan Redkach didn't belong in there with him. And I know a lot of fans felt that way because, originally this date was supposed to be him and Errol Spence fighting. But, Errol Spence got into the car accident, so he took on this soft touch, which to me, sometimes I don't know why some fighters do that, whenever the main event's not there, they have to take on a soft touch. I prefer him take on another top welterweight, that way it can hold people over. And at the same time, it could gauge him, at the same time, it'll get him ready for an even tougher fight. I feel like Denny Ugas could have been a solid opponent for him. Ugas has an opponent coming up in February, but probably they should have just matched Danny and Ugas up for this, man, because that would have made more sense to me. It would have been two top 10 welterweights facing off, and that way we could have said, hey, if, let's say, for example, Danny beat Ugas that night, he got by him in a unanimous decision or something, people would have said, okay, he fought a tough customer. He fought a tough Ugas who, is definitely going to be a tough guy to knock out. And that way people would have said, okay, this is Danny, this is the guy that's going to give Errol or Manny trouble, But now we see him going 12 with a guy like Ivan Redkach. It makes us say that, all right, man, he's not ready for somebody like Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, even for the hardcore fans. Hardcore fans are watching Danny's performance and they're watching him, kind of prod along and never step up or level up that next gear to take a guy like Ivan Redkach out. Because I felt like Ivan was vulnerable. He was always there to be knocked out to me. Because even the first half of the fight, I felt like Danny was landing big shots. He was definitely getting off the better power shots and counter shots where, he could have just he could have set up something big, from the body to the head, because he was going to the body early and, he was going back up top to the head. But, he never landed anything big in that last half like he was trying to take him out, because Danny, he's not fast and, he's not like the flashiest guy, but the guy hits hard. He has power in his left hook and in his right hand, and he has good timing. Danny's a good counterpuncher. People don't really realize that. That's why I was just wondering why he couldn't set up something big on Ivan and knock him out. It was just kind of like he was going through the motions. Like, since it wasn't an Errol fight, he didn't really want to, perform to his highest. That's what I got out of some of the moments in it, because I was just feeling like, yo, he got to knock him out, man, just so we could say, hey, he hadn't missed a step. Because, like I said, people are judging Danny and saying, even Bob Arum trying to say he's expired. But to me, he's not expired, but he does need to step it up if he wants to fight like, Manny or Errol or Terrence. And speaking of those guys, like, after watching this fight, I definitely feel like a guy like Manny Pacquiao is definitely going to be highly favored and still beat somebody like Danny. Even Errol, like, I'm talking about Errol. Even if Errol comes back after the car accident as the first fight against Danny Garcia, I favor Errol Spence in that fight, because I feel like Errol's more of a complete fighter. And, he's definitely going to, take advantage of, the slowness in a lot of Danny's shots, in that last fight. And we definitely know Terrence Crawford. Like, Terrence Crawford, not, but right now, I think that even Terrence Crawford, would have a field day with the Danny Garcia we saw on Saturday night. And speaking of a potential fight between them two, I was looking at the WBO rankings and, they got Danny as the #1 mandatory. So, if he's trying to chase Manny or Errol, he might as well just go straight for that Errol Spence, go straight for that Terrence Crawford fight, because, he's the #1 mandatory. So that would be a better fight to make to me. you're already number one there in the WBO rankings, so that's the fight that either Bob or Al Heyman, they should be trying to get made, because to me that would be a nice style matchup too, and I think that would be a good opponent on Terrence Crawford's record and vice versa, because right now Terrence does need like another big welterweight name, and he needs to break that PBC ice, so they need to go ahead and match them up. And like I said, I think Terrence, he'd be a big favorite in that fight, and would definitely put his skills to the test against a power puncher like Danny. But overall, for me, that performance on Saturday night from Danny Garcia, he did what he had to do, but sometimes doing what you got to do isn't enough. You got to make that statement. You got to put that stamp down and be like, yo, Ivan don't belong in here with me. I'm going to take him out in like 2-3 rounds and show y'all that I'm still up to the elite status with these guys like Manny and Errol, because those are the names he was calling out, Manny and Errol. But I didn't hear him mention Terrence Crawford's name, and he did mention something about moving up to 154. I was just like, man, the way he fought tonight, I don't see him moving up to 154. Honestly, I don't see Danny performing at 154 off of this performance. But if he wants to fight a Manny or Errol, I think, like I said, he had to make a bigger statement than that. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to go back and put some videos out on this channel, the Jab Effect. Also, let y'all know how I feel about this direction Danny's taking. Does he belong in that Manny lottery, with these other welterweights? But let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of the fight between him and Ivan Redkach. Does he deserve a Manny and Errol fight or a Terrence Crawford fight? Let me know in the comment section. But I do think he needs to take on Terrence Crawford, since he is that #1 mandatory. That's the next fight I'd like to see him in. Really, they're on that same turnaround. Terrence just fought in December, and Danny, just fought in January, so they could meet up sometime in May or June or April, So, yeah, that's all I got on this, guys. Like I said, subscribe here to the Jab Effect, Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Peace.